I'd like to share with you in this week's Parshas Noach something from the Rebbe's father, Rabbi Yitzchok Zatzal. In this week's Parsha, more to the end, it describes about a man by the name of Nimrod, who we all know fought against Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu wanted to publicize the Achdus Hashem, the unity and the belief in Hashem, and Nimrod fought against him. Now there is a diuk in the psukim that no other Mephorish explains besides Rabbi Levi Yitzchok. If you look in the words of the psukim, which I'm going to mention, there's 3 times it says the word gvura, gibor, from the root of gvura. He was mighty. First it says, Cush yoladas Nimrod, Cush had Nimrod, who heichel, he began to be gבור בארץ, to be mighty on earth. Then it says the next pasuk, who hoya gibor tzayir lifnei Hashem. He was a hunter, a mighty hunter before Hashem. Yאmar, therefore this people would say, K'Nimrod gibor tzayir, like Nimrod, who was a mighty hunter. Sounds like repetitious, redundant. So many times saying like the same thing, gibor. If you look good, Rashi alludes to this question, and if you look, you'll hear the Rebbe's father's explanation. It's very possible that Rashi is also has this meaning too. Explains Rabbi Levi Yitzchok that in general, as we spoke many times, every person has 4 ways how he connects to Hashem. In a nutshell, you have your neshama, your essence. The pintel yid, every yid has a neshama. Then you have your understanding, called bina, understanding of Hashem. You learn, you comprehend, nigla or chassidus. Then your emotional feelings, your avas Hashem, your love to Hashem, your yira, your awe, respect to Hashem. And then there's maaseh hamitzvos, the action. So a Jew has these 4 connections to Hashem: your essence, your understanding, your seichel, your feelings, your midas, your heart, and then also your actions. Explains the chassidus. This corresponds to the 4 letters of Hashem's name, Yud Kei Vav Kei. Explains in chassidus, Rabbi Levi Yitzchok talks about it, that we all know your etzem, your essence, your neshama, nobody can take away. Nothing in the world can damage the essence of your soul. You know, here in Princeton, we have an interesting quotable quote based on this, and that is, the Jewish soul could never get rusty, only dusty. Your etzem and neshama is always there. Most could happen is it could be covered up. How could it be covered up? Only in the other 3 parts. The Yetzer Hara, this Nimrod, who is also an example of the Yetzer Hara, he wants to attack the person. Where can he attack the person to cover up on his neshama? On your seichel. He could make you, challenge you the way you understand, put thoughts into you, questions into you, dilemmas into you that are not in line with the way of the Torah thinking. Then he could also bring lusts and desires into you, appetites and ways of taivas that are not wishful in the ways of the Torah. And then, of course, he can sometimes make a person do an action what he's not supposed to do. So in your seichel, in your midas shebelev, and in your action, over there you can have an effect. In Kabbalistic and Chassidish language, that's called bina, in Zoh, and in Malchus. Over there, the Yetzer Hara can come. And this is what the 3 times gibor. The word gבור means concealment. He wants to conceal on Hashem. He wants to attack Hashem. Especially it says the word 3 times gבור by Nimrod to hint to you this concept. That you should know he could affect these 3 parts: your mind, your heart, and your action. But your essence, that he can never take away. If you look good in Rashi, this is, the Rebbe's father doesn't say this, but if you look good in Rashi, it's very possible that Rashi also learns the same line, In the first Rashi talks about how he influences people with das. The second time he says about his chutzpah, his azus metzach, his azus ponem, his gall and audacity. That's more the midrash belev. And then also how it comes down into the action. Now you see how so carefully every word in Torah is so exact. Why it says exactly 3 times gibor, 3 times gevura, challenging a person to these 3 parts, but he has to know always that the essence of his neshama, nobody in the world can ever challenge or destroy or damage. And through the etzem and neshama, that reveals we'll be able to have the right understanding, the right feelings, and the right action in the way of Torah and mitzvahs.